Good morning, YouTube. Getting ready for another day. Um, there was some economic news today, some jobs reports, things like that. So, um, kind of trying to digest all that and see get an idea which way I'm going to go this morning. As always, check the screener for pre-market, see what's moving up, what's moving down. Um, like I talked about yesterday, TQQ and SQQ, TQ and SQ going forward are usually what I try to trade. When one's going up, the other's going down. So they mirror the Nasdaq, and one is the inverse, which means the opposite. And they give three times the return of the Nasdaq. So if the Nasdaq moves 1%, these will move 3%, which is good for day trading volatility. If I can get 1 or 2% a day on my account, that's good for right now. So looking at it right now, SQ is up, which means TQ would be down. And then I try to kind of keep an eye on some of the blue chips like Apple, Tesla. Apple's down, Tesla's up, AMD is down. So it's sort of a mixed bag right now. So I'm not going to have much to really go on. I just have to wait and see. Um, since SQ is up, that's probably where I'll have my screen as soon as market opens and see if it continues to move up. I like trying to get a move in right at market open. It seems like when I do that, the volatility is pretty strong. It's moving fast. As the day moves on, it slows down a little bit, and it's not as easy to get in and get out fast with a decent return. Just something I've noticed. It seems like that's my best trade in the morning is the first couple, so I want to make those good and strong. Uh, SQ. Yeah, looks like it's wanting to take off, so good. Eventually, I'll start working with making pre-market orders. I could get in right now in this gray section right here, this shaded section. That's pre-market. You have to set it up a different type of order to do that, and I haven't really messed with it much, so I'm not really that comfortable with it, and I don't want to put the wrong kind of order in or misgauge the market and end up, thinking it's going to go up, putting an order in and it tanks because I've seen that happen in the morning right at 8:30. It just does the opposite of what's right here. So certain circumstances like earnings reports, catalyst events like FDA drug approvals, things like that, would be when I would pick a stock and try to get in on pre-market just to catch a nice gap. But other than that, under this situation, there's no reason for me to really get in right here. It's too risky. At 8:30, I'll know pretty well what's going to happen, at least in the first few minutes. It can always change, but if there's a strong move right at market open, it'll usually hold long enough for me to make $50, $100, and then it might reverse. But so far, I've had good luck with that. Hopefully, that string continues. I want today to be a good day. So over here, I've got a couple of chat discords going with groups that I'm in. This is the Zip Trader U. This is Zip Trader Charlie's Discord. It's pretty handy. There's a lot of people in here that have a lot of experience. There's new people too, so just kind of they're putting out information all day, which is handy. I just try to look for things that others have noticed, maybe with different stocks or reports, things like that that come up. It'll get posted in here. There's a morning briefing in here, which has a lot of good information. He'll put things like big movers, catalyst events. And then this one is Ricky Gutierrez Lean Plan Profit Group. He's the one I call my coach. He gets on a live trades every day for 30 minutes or so. And again, this one, a lot of experience in here. People posting charts, people posting just information. You have to take it for what it's worth, though. Everybody has an opinion, so and you can usually find people approaching the same stock from two different directions on here. So I've learned not to just jump in and, you know, go with the flow as far as what people are trading from the discords. All right, so I've got a couple minutes. One more check on the scanner. DXY plus 07. NQ minus 176. Bear with me here. US 10Y 1.15. I'm just doing getting some pre-market information into a spreadsheet that I keep track of, trying to see how certain indicators pick the trend for the market moving during the day. Okay. TQQ minus 117. SQ plus 118. Apple minus 0.29. Tesla plus 113. Tesla SQQ green. Is red. Okay, so we're ready. Let's see what we got. Should be just any minute. And boom, there goes the market. Big green candle. All right, so I'm in for 600 shares. Let's see what it does here. Up $36. Up $30, down $30, down $6. Yeah, real volatile. Pick a direction. You gotta be patient. All right, there it goes. So we're up 12. I'm just gonna let this ride a little bit. It wants to go green, so I'm gonna let it. I've been getting out too quick, so I'm not getting out till at least $100 today. That's just the attitude I have about it. So I'll set a stop loss down here for $102. Take profit is at 100. Also, bump that up a little bit. Okay. Why did it disappear? Oh, there it is. All right. So it's not making the big moves like it normally does. It's a little slower today. Maybe the economic news has had an impact. Um, it's trying to go up, but I may not let this ride very long. Yeah, we'll see what it does. It's real indecisive, and preserving capital is my main concern. So since it didn't jump up like I was hoping, if I can get back to about even or a little bit above, I'm probably going to bail here. We'll see what happens. Should have took my 50 when I saw it. Huh? All right, so got out -$9, so not terrible. Yeah, it's trying to go red here. So some days that's gonna happen, I guess. Um, the good news is I can always just switch over to TQ and pick up a positive trend if that's the direction it wants to go. So over here, TQ will be doing just the opposite. Yeah, see, came down. Now it's a green doji candle. Wow, big jump. So that's the way it's gonna go. Maybe let me get in on that one. Get my $9 back. This time, if I can get 50 bucks, I'm gonna take it. Actually, I got my $9 back. I don't have a good feeling about it. Um, I'm just gonna wait it out a few candles and see for sure which way it goes. Just trying to hop in and out right here, it's too volatile. It can go either way. I'm just guessing at this point. So normally it takes a nice move at the beginning and gives you at least a few minutes of direction. But today, just that quick, it's bounced back and forth. So this would be a good candle to get in on. It's above the moving average, but since it's still so early in the day, it's just hard to say. So see, it's already coming down again. And I've seen that in the past where the first few candles, they don't really follow any rules. The indicators that I try to use don't get a good read on it. Um, so yeah, just kind of wait a few minutes, look at some of the other, try to get an idea what the trend is. Lots of green. DraftKings is up, GM is up, Meta's up, Tesla's up, Lyft and Uber are both up. So it's sort of a mixed bag, which means it can go either way. SQQ is up 2%, so we'll go back to SQQ. Even though it's up, it's not a good looking chart. The VIX is up less than 1%, but that's sort of a market indicator that there's volatility. They even call it fear index. The higher that goes, the more likely the market is to be trending down. But having an inverse ETF here that I can trade off, so it means it really doesn't matter because if the market goes down, this is going to go up. So you can win either way. It's really hard to pick right now. Let's see what Apple's doing. Apple's down. These long wicks on these candles, they're just a sign of indecision. Understanding these candles is important to sort of be able to read this chart, but um, on a red candle, the price opens at the top and pushes down, and the wick is the total at one point how low the price was before the buyers pushed it back up. So when you see a long wick on the bottom, you can see there was fighting for um, you know strength between buyers and sellers. Nobody really had a direction, and that's when there's no direction, there's no good feeling about an entry point because you don't really have anything to go on. If there's no wick on the bottom of a green candle, then that means it was all buying pressure. If there's no wick on the top of a red candle, same thing. sellers are in control. So right now, buyers and sellers haven't made up their mind yet what they want to do. So I can't make up my mind. I have to wait until they decide. So if Apple drops, so Apple's dropping. Apple is a big percentage of the NASDAQ, so it's going to carry TQQ and SQQ with it. When Apple drops, SQ will go up. And if I can get a couple candles here with no bottom wick, that'll tell me that there's some direction that's been established. And then I just wait for price to open above the moving average, my fast moving average, which is that yellow line. Down here I have a slow moving average. I'm sorry, my voice. A slow moving average down here. This one tracks the last 180 candles and gives you an average of the price, which sets a trend line. So I always know you can have a short-term trend like this, and then this kind of gives you an indication of the long-term trend. And you want to trade with the trend. So this yellow line is just an average of the last 9 prices. So it follows a lot tighter, but it gives me a decent idea of when I can get in as far as the last 10 minutes or so of price action. If I get a jump, it'll start above that yellow line, and that's a break in pattern, which sort of helps me establish an entry point. There's a couple other things to look at, like the volume and the RSI indicator, which is down here. So again, lots of pushback, long wicks on the top of those candles, small wick on the bottom. Still no definitive direction on where this wants to go. For me to get in, I have to see green candles with no wicks on the bottom. That means it was pretty much exclusively buyers taking control, which if I'm going to buy, that's what I want. I want to jump in with momentum. So yeah, see, still indecisive now. Got a big red candle coming back. And usually when this happens, it'll sort itself out. Eventually they'll pick a direction and they'll go with it. So that's kind of what I'm just waiting on right now. You can tell if I would have got in really at any point, um, it wasn't going to go in my favor. If I tried to short it, it was going to come back and go up. If I tried to go up, it was going to come back and go down. So I'm down 90 cents right now. Not terrible. Yesterday started out good, but I ended up giving it back throughout the rest of the day. So I'm down a little bit. I just want to get that money back and then go from there. I should have left the video on all day. I was up almost, I don't know, $250 when I turned the video off, and then I went back to not following my good rules and guidelines because nobody was watching me. Okay, huge, wow, SQQ dropping, so that means Apple had to have popped way up. Yep, Apple's jumping up. Still too early to get in though. A lot of volatility. I want to wait until I get an opening above the moving average, which is hard to do when this happens because you see that big, powerful move by buyers, and even though it's a little under where I want it to be, um, I'm just trying to follow the rule. The next candle should open up the midway of this one, so if it's green with no wick, I'll probably go ahead and get in. Kind of depends on how long this wick is too, though. See, the sellers are fighting back right now, pushing it back down, down. So even though it started out strong, it's doesn't have that same momentum. I could get in right now if it just pushes straight up. I still think it's too early though. There's not a lot of volume. This is the volume indicators right here. And if I'm looking at this, if I would have had a candle like this, a volume candle like this, I'd already be in. But since it's low, um, just trying to wait. So yeah, 12,000 volume here, 2,000 here. So it's not really relative as far as the size goes. I'm still pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. We'll wait. If we get 2 or 3 good candles moving in that direction, no wicks on the bottom, then I'll assume that a trend has been established and get in and see what happens. This is called FOMO, fear of missing out. Right now, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I should have got in right here. Oh, look at the price going up. But you have to manage that emotion because it's, like I said, it's not rational. Because I know that this can turn around just as quick and go the other way. So just because I'm seeing this right now, it doesn't really mean that I'm missing anything. But it's the first inclination is to assume that. So you have to fight that. It's still very weak. DraftKings is up. I should get in on DraftKings. I think I will. I'm just going to get in on DraftKings and see what it does. It's headed in a good direction. It's got green volume. It moved really nice yesterday. Wow, up 70 already. 48. DraftKings. Oh, I'm taking that. $165. Yep. There you go. Thank you, DraftKings. That's a big move. Should I get back in? Put a $100 stop loss on it, and I'd be up $65 no matter what. Yep. We'll do that. Oh, wow. I can't do that. All right. So that's way too big of a stop loss. I can't do that. I got to get out. Let me just see how much money I can get real quick. All right, $257 from DraftKings. Wow. In 15 minutes, $257 positive. Still going up. I should just ride this. But at some point, you get that big red candle, and it takes it all the way, so you got to be careful. Now, $80, 172 out. Yep. That's why you got to be patient. We'll see if it goes back. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Sometimes though, those trends go on for all day, and you know, it's always going to be a guessing game to some degree. So we'll see what happens. We'll just keep watching. If we get some good volume again. So okay, so coming back the other way with this many, I'm buying over 2,000 shares. So any small movement is just magnified so much. Um, yeah, I should have got in on this one, but I need to watch this one at the beginning of the day. Just that kind of volume. I could have been done for the day already. That would have been, I got in right here, 1.3%. Yeah, I could have been done. All right, so we'll come back. Kind of mad that I'm back down to $70, but that's how it goes. Every day is a new lesson. That's all I can say. At 250, I could have quit for the day and done something else and already been completely satisfied. All right, so another big move. Let's see if we get some volume to come up with that. This volume's still low. Let's get in and see what happens. Seems like the big push is over, but that's fine. We just gotta wait. All right, 286. Well, so now it'll go up to like $500, but it is what it is. So talked about the lesson I just learned. I was up 260, lost 200 in just a second, back up to 286. I'm going to leave DraftKings alone right now. And in fact, I'm going to make sure that I don't lose. Today's going to be green. I already made up my mind. So all my stop losses are going to be geared towards not allowing me to lose money today. So I've got, I'll say, $136 to play with as far as stop losses go, to guarantee that I make $150 for the day. I don't like being red at the end of the day, and I really do have control over that. Um, the biggest challenge for this is just managing emotions, really, and knowing, when you're reaching, um, and sometimes you can't let, what you're seeing affect what you're thinking as far as your overall strategy. Like I see this going up right now, but my overall strategy is to make gains every day, not to try to hit home runs. So that desire to hit a home run is always right there, and it makes me want to jump back in. But I have to weigh the pros and the cons. I'm up right now. Um, I could be up more, but then again, I could be in the hole $200 just like that. So that's what I need to focus on. This is a good move. Don't try to milk it too much. I learned a good lesson. I'm going to start kind of looking at DraftKings first. For whatever reason, the um, the amount that I was able to clear that quick was encouraging. Maybe it's because the amount of shares I bought on that. Yeah, when I do SQ and TQ, I'm only working with about $25,000 to $30,000 because of the margin. This one I have full margin on, so uh, 2,300 shares times $20, 60, almost $70,000 there. That's why the profit was so quick. 1% of $70,000 is $700, so it doesn't take much to, that's really a big move, man. So what I'm probably going to do is let this go way up, and then it will come back. It will turn around, and I can catch the downside move. Um, right now, this indicator right here is showing that it's way overbought. So it's just the risk getting in right now is really, really high. And just as I'm saying that now, we start getting some red wanting to turn around. So if I get some strong moves coming down, I can take advantage of this going the other way and ride it all the way back down. But then again, when you have a stock that's has a lot of buying power and it's moving up, it's in positive trend, then your risk is higher when you try to bet against it because it might come down a little bit and then start shooting right back up. So I don't have a lot of experience with this one. I can go back to previous charts and kind of get an idea. So I'm going to expand this to the 1 hour time frame and look at the overall trend. So right now it just broke over the 180 moving line, which is really a good sign for continued movement. It's a pretty smooth curve. When it comes down hard here. Of course, it wasn't really that high though. So if I look at some of the smaller highs and try to judge the downward move, like that's a day. Each one of these candles is a day since I'm on a day time frame. So let's go to 5 minutes. Let's go back a couple days. Okay, so downward move, 5 minute candle. All right. So it can go either way. Just have to see. Still looks like it's wanting to move up. I'm gonna get rid of these indicators. We're in the way right now. All right. So these candles here, another sign that there's indecision. Prices opening and closing real close to the same levels. Um, Usually that's a sign of a trend reversal, or just a phase of consolidation, which basically means no clear direction, nowhere to buy, nowhere to get in. That's a positive sign though for DraftKings because to move up that high, normally you would have a lot of people selling to take profit, just like I did. Everybody has a different level that they want to take profit at. But since it's not dropping hard within the first couple, means it's probably just going to be a little dip and then go back up. But again, you can't predict anything. This doesn't work. I'm trying though. I'm looking for every pattern. I've got spreadsheets tracking all kind of different metrics as far as the market goes. Just always looking for an edge. If I can find a way to see that my odds are a little higher to make a certain move on a certain day, I'm always going to take advantage of that because that's part of compounding your positive factors in your favor here. I have the indicators. I have past price history. I've got news. I've got catalysts. There's all kinds of things you can look at to at least get an idea of what a stock might do. And then when you watch it, you wait for confirmation, wait for your signals on your indicators, and everything sort of points to a green light go. You get in, and you can have confidence that it's going to do well because of the work you put into either establish that understanding of what it should do. But again, there's people out there moving the market based on their own inclinations and their own. You've got hedge funds, market makers, involved with this that they have enough power to impact the market. So all the work you do can set you up for success, and it can still turn against you. That's just part of the deal. You have to accept that risk and figure out ahead of time how much you want to risk, how much you're willing to lose. That's what you put on the line every time. If your reward, that's a huge momentum candle. If what you make is always a little bit more than what you lose, then you can win and lose, about the same amount, and you'll still end up profitable. You still make money. So, so I was tempted to get in because of that huge green candle right there. That was a lot of volume, 12,000 shares right there. There's another one. Okay, so the indicator that I use, this is still way overbought. I didn't open above my yellow line, so even though it's rising, if I'm sticking to my rules, I wait until I get a gap between the candle and the yellow line. That that just tells me that there's a certain level of momentum as far as the price goes. There's really nothing more than that. I know it doesn't look like much on here, um, but that's just I've looked at these enough to see that when there's a gap between the candle and the line, usually that indicates a place to get in, and the difference can be that little bit. Um, I've looked back through thousands of candles to try to establish this understanding. So when I go back and I back test something, I'll use things like that to um, take some consideration, away from the idea that it's a good idea to buy here. Like that's happened enough before where I could see it failed going forward because it hadn't cleared the yellow line. So I learned through back testing that um, just that little bit right there has eliminated enough trades for me in the past that went bad for me to say, no, it's got to be over the line. So this one's over the line, but it's weak. So, and it's got a wick on the bottom. So that means it's not a bullish candle. Yeah, so it's still fighting. So this, I don't want to say it yet, but this probably wasn't a good place to get in, even though it would look like a big, powerful move, lots of volume. Um, it didn't break the threshold for what I need to see to get in and risk, $100, which is probably going to be more than that on this one because of the price action. I mean, $100 stop loss is barely a very small amount on here, which I don't know how much that even does. It doesn't allow for any pullback. If I set $100 stop loss on this, it would get triggered on just these little moves right here, which you have to factor those in and allow for them. So on this particular stock, with as much as I'm using to buy, I would almost have to risk 200 bucks to give it enough space. And that's kind of why I've gotten away from using hard stops. In other words, letting the computer set an automatic stop. I'm doing mental stops. So I just watch the price, and when it hits negative 100-ish, I go ahead and sell regardless. So different people approach that different ways. If you're disciplined, you can use a mental stop loss. The last thing you want to do is see it go to minus 110 and not get out thinking it's going to come back, hoping it's going to come back, and the next thing you know, you're $200 or $300 in the hole. And now what do? All right, so this technically could be an in candle, but because of this overbought situation right here, and it could do this all day, but you just don't know. A lot of times I'll look at the chart at the end of the day when I'm sort of recapping, and I can see, wow, I should have got in right here because look, it did this, this, and this. But in the moment, um, you don't have that. You don't have that kind of hindsight. So I have to look at what I see right now, and what I see right now is an overbought situation, some fighting back and forth here. If this was all powerful green candles had been moved up to that point, I would have got in. But we're struggling, we're struggling, we're struggling, we're struggling, we're struggling. Yes, I might be able to get in there and make 50 bucks, but it could turn around and spike down, just as quick and start heading the other direction. So this is some of the stuff I've learned, you know, more recently. Unfortunately, I didn't have this information at the beginning, so I was just kind of willy-nilly um, as I was learning, at the very beginning. So that's part of the cost of my education for this, I guess. I lost money making those kind of moves, not understanding entries and exits and risk rewards, things like that. But I don't have to keep losing money, so I expect to be in the green this week, and then going forward, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be able to make some decent amount of money as long as I follow my rules, follow my guidelines, stay disciplined, um, keep the mental aspect at the forefront. So DraftKings is already up almost 7%, which is a huge amount for a stock to move, especially on a day like today, which had some strange news. A lot of the other blue chips are down. Microsoft's down. Occidental Petroleum is down. Apple is down. So DraftKings is sort of been doing its own thing today, which is one of the reasons I've got it on my list. It's a sports betting company, big in football. So football season just started. So that's a catalyst for this particular stock to move regardless of what the market's doing. I'm still kind of waiting for this to turn around and make a big drop. At some point, people want to take their profit, and those people that bought, way down here, that right now they're up, ridiculous amounts of money. So somewhere these people start selling, and that will bring this price back down today. And it could be substantial. So if I can catch, a percent coming back down, that's big, that's real big. You saw how quick it was to make 280 bucks going up on just one or two of these candles. If I get in right here, and my rules are the opposite. Now I'm looking for a red candle to open below the moving average. There hasn't been one yet all the way up. There hasn't been a single move below the moving average. So that would be a strong sign of negative momentum. If I can get a candle to break up here, which would tell me most likely I'm going to get 2 or 3 moves down, which means I could probably pick up another, $100, $200, $300 real quick. And if I do that, I'm done for the day. So that would be great to be done trading by 9:30 with $500, $600, and that happens. And yes, at the end of the day, I'll go back and I'll look at the chart and I'll always say, wow, if I just would have stayed there all day, I'd have made $5,000, Um, but that's a hard game to play. So, I mean, you don't know. You could have made, you're assuming all your moves were going to be good. You can see where your entries would have been, but it's not a perfect science. And I catch myself um, diverting from the path on occasion. So there's no guarantee that I wouldn't today as well. All right, so nothing really solid. Just more indecision. Could be another little pullback. This could be a 12%, 10, 12% day for DraftKings today, but I'm just scared to get in right now because it's the RSI is so high, and it's been high for since the market opened. Basically, it's been riding up here in the 80s. It's at 71 right now, but it's been as high as 82. So I'm looking at the little purple indicator right here. 82, 80, 82, 85, 86. So it's been really high. So let's see if we can get a strong move south. If it dips back enough, this RSI indicator will drop back, um, which would be, which would make it a little more acceptable to then make a buy as it starts going back up, because that's the one indicator right now that's not in my favor. I'm above the moving average. I'm above the VWAP. I'm above the slow moving average. Everything looks good except for that RSI. So even if it doesn't come down here and give me a negative move, if it if I get enough red here to slow the momentum down and drop the RSI, then that'll help with my confidence moving up. I'm gonna grab some coffee. Be right back. All right. So this is, I could see some more moves, in the green here if it wants to go that direction. RSI is now at 71. It's still high. And if this starts making a big move up, I'll feel like I should have gotten in, but I'm no better. So that's why I'm not. People that have been doing this for years, I can see how their experience helps them in situations like this. They've been in this scenario hundreds, thousands of times, and they've been able to form, a consensus in their own mind of how to move. Whereas I'm so new that I'm still thinking, oh well, it should go up, it should do this, it should do that. You really have to just stay with your indicators. I mean, that's what guides you. Once you establish that they're give you a strong chance of success, there's no reason to divert from that. So um, I see this pattern. I see where it looks like it will probably go up some more, but that doesn't mean that it will. It doesn't mean anything. It can turn on a dime. So again, I'm not where I need to be as far as indicators go, so I don't buy. It's gambling if you approach it any other way. If you just try to go by what you think is going to happen, what you feel should happen, that's gambling. Um, and I'm not here to gamble. I'm here to give myself the best odds of success to make money. So that's what it's all about. And in a couple months that I've been doing this, I've been able to establish what should work if I just follow it, which is easier said than done sometimes, but it is what it is. I'm getting better. Kind of got a $300 mark in my mind today. So if I can make another 14 bucks, I might just be done. So yesterday I was up and I gave it back, and I'm not going to do that again. So um, I just want to find a little $14 move. And this is losing momentum quite a bit. So we're down to like, that was less than 1,000. Up here is where I'm looking at volume. So as I move my cursor over these candles, all those lines move. And what these are open price, high price, low price, closing price, um, percentage difference in money, percentage difference overall, and then volume here. So if I'm got my cursor on this candle right here, I can see the volume is 966. Okay, we just moved to a new candle. Volume's 200, 500, So volume is a huge indicator. That's these lines down here. Um, volume is another sign of momentum. So when you see this kind of momentum, this kind of volume, it's sort of predictive. You know, a lot of people are jumping in. A lot of people are going to see that a lot of people jumped in, and that's going to cause more people to jump in. So when you see something like this, it's an appreciative factor, a positive factor. I don't know if I'm using that word right. But yeah, so the volume has dropped off quite a bit from our first half hour or so. And all of my openings are now real sketchy as far as, the moving average. So this candle technically opened over the moving average. See the gap? But because of the low volume, because of the weak moves, because of the recent, I'm just not ready. The RSI is too high. I'm still waiting for that big drop. That's the only reason I'm sitting on this. And I've noticed I've caught myself jumping to other stocks and then coming back to one and seeing that I missed a move, and that's frustrating because some of those moves that I've missed are huge. I mean, they're $1,000 moves. So this time, I kind of want to let this play out. And since I'm already up, I'm not in any kind of hurry to go, do anything. As far as another stock, I want to give this one a chance to do what it should do when it goes up this high, this fast. At some point, there should be a decent pullback. Nope. All right. So another one of my rules is that I need two bullish candles in a row to get in when I'm this far into the day, and the second one has to be above the moving average. So I can't get in on this candle because it's the first one. If I get this candle closes, another candle opens above the yellow line, um, that would be an entry signal. If I wasn't so high on the RSI, I'm still just waiting for it to come down. Really, I don't think this is going to go up forever. But explaining these rules is part of why I put this video together, to like make myself accountable to what I say is my plan, and I explain my strategy. Then I feel compelled to hold to it, which is in my best interest. I've found out usually when I have bad days, it's because I didn't follow my rules. I saw something like this and I said, "Oh, I think it's going to do that," and I get in and I lose money. So um, every day I go back and I look at what happened in the day. I adjust my strategy a little bit for what I see, in actual price history. Um, Always trying to, sharpen the edge a little bit, and that's where I've come to sort of define these rules and these guidelines by going back to the charts and saying, well, yeah, that looked like a good move, but this, and this. So I add that. I write the strategy out in a spreadsheet, and it has different points that I have to establish before I can get in or get out, and so I'm constantly kind of going back and tweaking those. I've even uh, used the percent of the candle itself. Like this is up here is the percent right here. So I'll look at the candle, and it's right now it's at 0.17, 0.10. I would say this candle, my entry candle or my ignition candle, had to be a certain percentage, because I had established that over time that size candle in this position equals this much gain. So that's sort of what the game is. It's just odds and looking at patterns. So again, so this would have been, it's that's why I go with two, because one candle over the line doesn't hasn't established itself as a high enough probability for me to buy on that. I saw that I needed two, and I didn't get that here. So you're not getting in here. It's too early to say, but looking at it right now, it was a good decision because there's no strength going up. And the last thing I want to do is be fighting with plus 100, minus 100, plus 150, minus 250 right here at this point. I'm just looking for something to just move solid. I get in, stay in for 30 seconds and get out, with $100. And again, you know, I've seen it do this where it just tracks like this all day long, and I'm kicking myself for not getting in. I do the math, and I'm like, well, I would have made X amount of dollars. But in the moment, it's not a good decision. So, and I've had to teach myself that the hindsight doesn't mean nothing. We have to fight our own internal bias. Um, we have our own confirmation bias, our own bias about what we want to happen, and we sort of try to make that a self-fulfilling prophecy. Um, and more times than not, that doesn't work. So that's a nice move. Um, right now, DraftKings is up 7%. RSI is at 75. Volume picking up a little bit, but it's still okay. So technically, I could get in here. Second candle, green, big move. It's just too high on the RSI. I'm so close to pushing the button. But let's wait. Let's wait. Let's wait. Let's wait. Let's wait for the down move. It's kind of sort of stalled out. It could go either way right here. Fighting. I don't know if you can see these very small movements that this green line makes up here. It's the price line. I watch it. It's sort of it's barely moving up and down, so it doesn't really know which way it wants to go. Which when you're have an order open, that's frustrating because you're waiting for the price to go up and it just doesn't really move. So it's just sitting there, not just dip back a little bit. So it looks like there was a big difference here, but you need to look at the top, right? So it always opens at the midpoint of the previous candle, but the top is where you're looking at. So even though it's gapped up from here to here, there was no gap from this candle to this candle. So there was really no price movement. So um, that's something else to keep in mind as far as the way you're absorbing this as you're buying it. You see that big candle gap and you're thinking, oh, it went up. No, it didn't go up. It's still about the same as what this top wick is right here. Now it just broke barely. Okay, moving up a little bit now. Got a little more volume. Okay, so we're making slow, steady progress, but at this point, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, big drop right there. It's still indecision. Normally, at a different part of the trend, this would be a really solid place to buy. If this move was down here and this RSI was like down here, lower, oh, that's all day get in, real solid. But because I'm already, 7.3% up for the day, the stock itself and the RSI is this high, you have to let that change the way you think about it. What works in one place doesn't always work in the other. And although this is strong, there's some factors against you. So if your rule is to stack, the odds in your favor as much as possible every time you get in, then this, isn't that solid. So see, we can see again, it's struggling. If I would have got in here, I might have made just a little bit, but did I wait too long and then I get hit with this and lose everything? I mean, this is the candle I was talking about that, was barely above the other one, and now we're already back down here. Prices dropped this far, which would have been, $100, $200 on my little account. So we're still looking for that big move down at some point. I'll wait for like 3 candles down. If I get 3 solid bullish candles headed south, and one of them at least, second or third one, opens below the moving average, I would take that as a pretty solid signal to get in. So that's what I'm looking for. If I don't get it here and it starts trickling back up, I may jump to a different stock because at this point, um, I don't want want to sit here all day on this. I'm only looking for a few bucks to get out anyway. So yeah, a lot of indecision. By the same token, if I just would have put my money in down here, here's another game I play all the time. If I just would have put my money in right here and walked away, I'd be up 7% right now, which 7% of, I'm using, let's see, give you an idea of how much money there is in this. All right, so 2,300, let's round it to, we'll say it was at 1880 down here. So 2,300 times 1880 for the price. I'm not using as much as I thought. Hold on. $2,300. So up here it says 2.3K. That's how many I buy. So I'm taking that 2,300 times the price, which was 1880. Ah. Okay, 42,000 times 7% is almost 3 grand. $3,026. So if I would have just put my money in on DraftKings back here at 8:30 and not done anything, I'd be up $3,000. $3,000. Unfortunately, I can't predict the future. I didn't know DraftKings was going to go up 7%. Otherwise, that's exactly what I've done, what I would have done. Um, and that's what a lot of people do. They have stocks that they know are going to go up, and they just put their money on it, and it goes up. And more days than not, they make a bunch of money. So once I get this account built up a little bit more, where I can put a $200 or $300 stop loss down there and just go do something else for the day and come back and see if I made $3,000. That's probably, I'll do that on some days if I have a good feeling for something. Um, and there's ways to do that too. You can look at the overall trend for this on a daily time frame, and you can get the same kind of idea of what it's going to do on a daily basis. Again, it's not predicting the future. It's just looking at the direction it's heading, the momentum it has at that time, and saying that 9 times out of 10 in this situation, this is what happens, and then you go by that. Doesn't mean it's always going to happen. So, but yeah. At some point, this is going to make a big move down. I just don't believe this is going to end up 7 or 8% at the end of the day. It's rare for that to happen. So there's other tools that I use. We'll show, I'll go pull this over here for a second. Bar chart, price history. So I'm going to look at DraftKings price history. DraftKings, yeah. All right, so that's today. So yesterday it was up 6%. It's really been moving. Wow. So this is a good one to use as an example. I mean, had I been looking at this price chart and looking at the momentum it had, um, it wouldn't have been a terrible guess to just put some money on it and watch what it did for the day. There's my big drop right there. Bam. That's a huge drop. There we go. All right, so 311 for the day. I could have rode that for who knows how long, coming back down, but I had a goal. I set my goal. I made my goal. I'm good. When I get more money in this account, my risk ratio will go up a little bit. But for right now, I'm just trying to build the account up. I want to get to like 30,000, and then once I have that cushion, um, it takes money to make money, but I don't like sitting just right above that 25 level. I explained yesterday that if the account drops below 25,000, then I'm accountable for my day trades, and I can actually have my account locked. It takes that amount of money. I didn't put that amount in there because I had it or because I could. I put it in there because that's what I needed to use to be able to trade the way that I trade. If I don't have that in there, I can only make 3-day trades in a 5-day period, which I've already made. How many today? 4 or 5 trades. I couldn't trade like this if I didn't have that amount of money in there. If someone just wants to get in, do a few trades a week, and be able to trade either direction, short or long, you can do it for $2,000. You're still bound by that pattern day trader rule, but you can swing trade, so you could let it sit overnight, which then makes it not a day trade. So if you made, a couple day trades and then a few swing trades during the week to just kind of, see how the market works and get used to it, you can do that with $2,000. If you use an all cash account, um, meaning it's not margin, you can use any amount you want and you can trade as many times as you want. But it takes 2 business days for your money to settle. So if you have a account with $2,000 in it and you trade $1,000 worth of that money, it's going to take 2 days for you to get your money back plus whatever you made, in those trades. So that's another factor I had to consider to decide how much money to use for this. I started with a cash account, and I noticed, there was this thing about settlement period, and I was waiting, 2 days to get my money. My money, that I'd used, and I couldn't trade with the same amount the next day. And pretty soon after, 2 days of that, you can be out of money and you're waiting. Then it takes 4 days to get your full, or it takes 2 days and then 2 days again. So yeah, for me, this just worked out. This is the style I want to sort of go with. But for somebody getting in, $2,000 would probably be the minimum. And then you'd have to have a little cushion, because if you drop under $2,000, then you're out of that ability to even use margin. So things to consider, stuff I didn't know when I got in. I've learned a lot of lessons, and that's sort of what this videos are for too. If someone else is trying to get into the market, then some of the stuff I'm explaining is just what I went through and what I learned, as the very basic, most basic information. There's tons of good information out there you can use. YouTube, there's people out there that have tons of free content out there that I've benefited from. You have to be careful too, because there's some scams too, but maybe we'll go over some of that stuff in a future video. But I think I'm going to cut it out for now. That's been about an hour. I don't expect anybody to watch an hour video, but like I said, a lot of this I'm just doing for myself for accountability and help me be more disciplined. All right, thanks YouTube. See you tomorrow.